going on, guys? It's your boy Crush, the myth, the legend, the god. Because let's be real, who's really going to take us down? So we just came out of a weekend ranked tournament, which means you go through the 18 matches over the weekend, and the players that out of 18 matches with the highest rating wins. We placed second, yours truly. Big improvement from the last tournament where I think we ended up around 20th place. So in honor of second place, we'll be doing a spotlight deck on my deck to give you guys some insight on maybe if you're stuck deck building. Hopefully I can generate some ideas for you guys. We'll start out with the rewards. I believe I had two standard packs. Two standard packs. I think some worlds. I don't think I got them yet. That standard is from the battle pass. We'll try one more try. Nope, not yet. But we'll open this one for funsies. They finally fixed it so I can look at all the cards on my that I own. It was capped at 25. Okay. Court. Alright, we got okay, Thief Intense. Good. Give hidden to a creature. When a creature receives damage, it gains hidden. Stop creature attack half, then deals 2 damage to it. Secret Den, fully heal each friendly creature and then give them hidden. There's a lot of good ways to get hidden. It's good if you get that. I forgot the girl's name, but that gets steals 2 and gotta hold out for 1 turn. Destroy each opponent artifact. Shadow of the Opera. Fight. Give hidden to each of your other creatures. Pretty good. Pretty good. I don't see it synergizing with my deck, but definitely a lot of hidden, but no cards that benefit off of it. There's 2 cards that come to mind that would have really sealed the deal for this deck, but we didn't get them in this pack. Alright, let's head over to the decks and get started. We'll start with 7 Courts, GGRZ. Okay, and as a reminder, all my sets are purchasable. Come on, let's be real. The price is right, I'll let it go. Alright, so when I get the court sets, everything has a purpose. As you can see in the description from the devs on like how each deck performs, the way they described mine was shard focused, efficient, and I think it was adaptive. So I'll kind of teach you those components that I use when I'm playing. So this one is meant to be like, if I'm getting courts, my main focus is stealing. You have to think of situations where your opponent is at some point going to be ahead of you and they sealed the deal. If you don't have any cards that either take away or steal from them, then it means if your opponent gets to 10 before you, you lose, while they have cards that, you know, can take away from yours and you're just fighting to sustain. That's too much pressure on you. So what you want to do is, I think there's different, but basically have a set focus on reducing your opponent's shards. So in this set, I have the Twilight Chanter, which I use, and I'll describe these, but it's not like I chose these by hand. Like, I just got a good set. So Twilight Chanter, play and reap, give hidden. This is mostly for hidden. I'll keep them alive to make sure I want a creature that has hidden. Acrobatic Cutthroat, not really essential to my build. However, it does come in play because it does synergize with board clearing. If I can get their attack to 1, that sets up, what's his name? Obstacle of the Weak, which destroys each creature with 2 or less attack, which also synergizes with my deck because a lot of times these weaker creatures have all the marks. Whether it's the decks that lock up your cards, they usually have high health but low attack. So this is a good way to secure destroying without having to be worrying about being exhausted and to kill it yourself. Phoenix Treasury, which is an artifact, which if I'm behind, it allows me to catch up each turn one shard at a time. Thief Finesse, number 1 card you want if you're behind, and a lot of times if I have a lot of steel cards, I'll let my opponents get ahead on purpose so they can burn all their combos, and then in one fell swoop I can just steal all their shards and be ahead like 5-6-0. Wealth and Woe, this is for my play style. This card is very hard to play. It's hard to fit in. Most of the time I discard it, but when it does work, I usually get 2 to 4 out of it. So it's, it's an unfortunate card to get in this set, but hey, it works. Smuggler of the Rift, this complements really well with small weak creatures that I want to hide, essentially, which is Soho the Wanted. This card is huge in this deck, so it pretty much guarantees my wins. Basically what I do is I play this, and then I usually only play it if I can steal it, or if it's pretty much game over after, because if it's game over after, then I can care less if they kill it. But usually you want it, and this smuggler definitely complements her because he can give her hidden for free, which goes in play with invisible web, which allows you to get, with this deck I can have up to like 3 hiddens at once, allowing me to steal 3 shards, which is huge play. When it all comes together, it's a huge play. So we went over these. Chain Dagger, this is like the godsend. So basically, anytime your opponent has a damaged creature, or even your own, you just kill it, you get a shard for playing the card, comes back to your hand. You can literally board wipe the whole field and get a shard per kill. Now, alone it's difficult to set up, but I do have a set that I chose, handpicked, to synergize with it, because I was like, great, now I need something that does AoE damage. And it wasn't until they released all the cards where I was like, well, what do you know, there is something that can do AoE damage, because at the first I thought it didn't. So we have a PBT deck here that will synergize with it. And here's our guy right here, Frightful Flyer. If you play him, he does 1 damage to every creature. So it's a perfect setup for the next round. I do one damage, and I'm able to kill all their opponents. But the main combo from this that I set up, that you can set up with just 1 set, is actually playing Infected Wounds, which anyone I just hurt on my opponent's side gives 2 mark, which is amazing because a lot of the times they fill up their whole board. And so this has the potential of hitting 5 to 6 targets, giving them 2 each. That's already 10 to 12 max. And then to finish it off, Outer Disease, destroy each damaged creature. So in 1 turn with 1 set, I can just instant win the game. Be so far ahead they can't do anything. But we'll continue on through this deck. So like I said, so the adaptable part of my deck is essentially being able to combo with its own set or other sets. Because let's say I don't get this and everything's infected and wounded, well, I still have the Quartz card that can just destroy each card 1 at a time. So very, very effective, very adaptive. This one as well, so it's destroyed, your opponents lose 2. This is another adaptive play, because let's say I can't steal, there's nothing to steal, I can at least kill him to at least get them to lose 2. Now, how can I make myself kill myself? This set also has stuff to self-inflict damage. This being one of them, the first 3 damage can be used on me or my opponent. The second deal 2 damage to a creature has to be your opponent. It's a miswriting on the card, but the second effect has to be your opponent. It cannot do damage to yourself. Blightright Veins, another great card to play. It can't do any actions, which means it can't reap, can't attack, nada. So basically, it's destroy and give 3 mark to a random creature, which is super effective. Here is a way to kill it. Shard Repulsion. If I destroy a creature, I destroy it. Not only do I give 3 mark to a creature, but I also get 2 shards for killing my own. That just turned into a 5 play with just 2 cards. 5 play for 2 cards. My decks will always hold value over very few cards. The most shards I can get for the least amount of cards you use are high value cards. Those should be your sought after. Little combos like that. So this one, Brutality, play destroy a friendly creature and it gains its stats. That's another card that's very helpful. I can get rid of this one, I can get rid of this one, and it'll kill it. It'll get its effect, and then I'll be able to attack with it the next turn. This card was a little bit better when it had the bugged effect, because it auto silenced too. I mean, I wish they changed it to it. Honestly, I mean, I feel like it's a rare. It might be more of an effective card of being able to silence a creature and just give it Mark 2. The way it's supposed to work, though, is if you silence a creature, great. But if it's silenced, that one that's already silenced, which is redundant and wasteful, you gain Mark 2. I mean, if the devs are watching this, I think it would have more value if you just gave it Mark 2 on the first silence, because why we have to waste a silence on a silenced creature when there's so many better options? Like, I'd rather silence another card that's being a little bit too strong on the board. Void Eater Hoodlug, perfect card for if it gets destroyed on my turn, it basically spawns a creature from my graveyard. If this is the only card on the field early on, then it essentially comes back itself. So if there's nothing in the graveyard, it summons itself. So don't be afraid. So there's different things I can kill it with, and then it'll come back as a body, or I can just sacrifice on my turn to attack, and then I'll get another one right away. So much utility. Another card that is great for the meaning adaptable. We went over these two. So the last piece to the puzzle, which covers mostly the it's not what I wanted to type. OSW. So this covers the last piece of the adaptable, and together it makes an efficient deck that's shard oriented. So this deck alone, even if these cards were all useless, it has 5 shards on them. These mean if you play them, you get them. So it doesn't matter. You get immediate shard without having to do anything but play the card. So let's go over the cards. So Skin of a Maru, give deadly to a creature. That's perfect. I can give deadly to any of the worlds, and I can kill my opponent, wipe my board on the next turn. Empyrean Carver, this one's a perfect first turn card, because not only will it reap on the second turn, usually if they don't kill it, it summons a Celestial Totem. That totem has 1 attack, 1 HP, and if it dies, it gives you a shard. So that goes really well with my PBT set, which allows you to use that spider to do the 1 damage to all my creatures, and it'll just kill myself and get free shards. It'll be the same effect with Shardling Beetle. He gives 1 for being played, and if he dies, he get 2. So a lot of times I'll even use, if it's within its own set, I'll use the Vitus Tentaculata. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I'll use that to kill the beetle. I'll get 2 shards. You get a shard for playing it, and it will just summon another creature on the board from the deck. So that's perfect. And then another Skimamaru, 2 is perfect. I can just spam it, even if I don't care if my creature has deadly. I can at least get 2 shards from it. Lone Predator, probably the only card that in my mind is a waste in this deck because it's not focused on attacking. So he's just used as a body. Swift Leaf Fall, which is perfect for this set. Not only do you get a shard for playing it, it allows a creature to reap, which means you're getting guaranteed 2. What I like to play it with is this bad boy. So even if I play it, if I go second, and this is my first turn, I get 1 shard for playing this. I reap with this, and he summons a totem that gives me a 1 if he's destroyed. And then I can even top it off with the Warning Shout, get another free shard, and then get the creature back to my hand, and then play it again. Same thing with the beetle. I can just put the beetle down, put the beetle back up in my hand, that's 2 shards, and then put the beetle back, and that's 3. And then I can use the octopus thing to kill it. That gives me 5. And then let's say it's still the same turn, and I could just play this for 6, reap for 7. So completely, so many things to do, and all these cards synergize with my other sets so well that honestly I can get a random hand and make it work. Which I'm sure my opponents sing that they keep trying to finish me off, and I can just keep coming back because each set in their own way synergize so well together. Sharkquake, not a big fan, but is effective when I have nothing to attack and I do need to get rid of a monster. This will allow me to just pop a monster that's too dangerous on the board, too hot to handle. It gets seldom use because a lot of times the playing boards are usually even. I would need like a huge board wipe with most of my monsters still on the board for this to gain. I think the most I gain is like 3 or 4 shards off of this. Usually if my opponent's not doing too hot. But yeah, there you have it. We have the deck is called a deck of the gods. That's what I call it. I was truly blessed with all those sets being pulled. Even though their intentions I wasn't really seeking all that synergy. It kind of just fell in my lap. I think the first one I pulled was the Lost Eden, and I saw it had 5 shards, and I was like, wow, like this works well. Because of that beetle, even that set alone just synergizes so well. And then I think the second one I got was the quartz. That was just so much steel. Like I was pulling with the focus of just getting at least 4 or 5 steel cards, and I hit it. And then like not even realizing, like all I cared was like I was like pulling and I was going one by one. I was like, okay, I got 1 steel, 2 steel, 3, 5. I'm like, cool. But then I went back and looked at it, and I was like, no, the rest of the cards kind of synergize pretty well. And then the last one was the PBT deck, which I pretty much, I think I saw some players using it, and it had some mark effects. So essentially, so Lost Eden's focus for me is shards. I need a deck that focuses heavily on getting shards quickly. The quartz is the part of the deck where I need to steal and deny my opponent. And the job of the last one was to mark. You need a deck that marks. I think there's 2, possibly 3 decks that mark your opponent. And I think that is the trifecta of a solid deck. You need shard obtaining, you need to steal, and you need to mark. Mark just sets up your board to like either the same turn or the next turn. to deal damage, kill your opponent's monsters, and get free shards, because it literally generates it out of nothing. And all you have to do is either kill the opponent or send that creature back to your opponent's hand, and you obtain those shards. And I think that's the best advice I can get for your deck creation, is that trifecta: shard obtaining, steal, and mark. It doesn't matter what sets you have. If you have each one doing their job and doing it well, your deck will synergize well, and you'll be able to do some adaptive gameplay and make it to the top of the leaderboards. But that's all I got for you guys today. So please like, subscribe, comment. I enjoyed playing this game, and I appreciate your guys' support. Make sure to turn on the notification bells. I will be streaming my tournament fights this next weekend, so make sure you guys are subscribed so you guys can get notifications, so when I go live, so you guys can watch me play live and see how it is, how this deck plays. All right, you guys take care. Thank you.